Heavyweights don't just hit, they detonate.
Oh, goes the ream!
One punch can rewrite history, turn giants to rubble, and leave crowds in stunned silence.
Letting this fight go. And here, he hurt him there, and there's the uppercut.
From thunderous head kicks to sledgehammer uppercuts, these are the knockouts that shook the octagon and left legends unconscious.
And look at that.
There wasn't major beef, but Blades talked down on Lewis's style, calling him one-dimensional. Lewis didn't say much. He just let his fists do the talking.
As much power as Derrick Lewis. I mean, Curtis is still unconscious right now.
It's Lewis!
Two knockout artists colliding for interim gold. Pavlovich came in as the wrecking machine, but Aspinall was too fast, too sharp.
Leg kicks will pay dividends. Oh, he's the real deal.
Tom Aspinall is the real deal. My goodness.
And there is Michael Bisping.
The Russian giant crumbled. Aspinall announced himself as the baddest man in the division. Gabriel Gonzaga versus Mirko Cro Cop, one of the most shocking knockouts in UFC history.
That is the last thing anybody expected here tonight.
Out of nowhere on
The MMA world was stunned. The kicker had been kicked. When power meets precision, history is made. At UFC 226, Daniel Cormier delivered one of the most shocking knockouts in heavyweight history.
Exactly what you gotta do. Oh, he breaks free. Bam! On the chin. Stipe goes down.
A knockout that crowned a double champ and left the MMA world stunned. In the rematch, Miocic found his opening.
Those are
Right hand up top!
Right hand, 3 right hands in a row, couple uppercuts. Really,
he seemed to get stronger as the fight went on.
With that, Stipe reclaimed his throne in emphatic fashion. When power and technique collide, the result is spectacular. At UFC Paris, Cyril Gane showcased his striking mastery.
He just takes the...
So accurate, so patient. And you know what's even better? To see him get cracked. To see him have to fight through that in this division.
A knockout that electrified the hometown crowd and proved Gane's elite heavyweight status. At UFC 218, Francis Ngannou unleashed one of the most brutal knockouts in heavyweight history.
Maynard's phone to try to get a matchup with Ngannou. Oh! Goes the ream!
Boom!
A knockout that sent a message to the entire division. At UFC 156, Antonio Bigfoot Silva shocked the world with a relentless barrage in the third round.
And now Silva's starting to tee up. He rocked him. Big uppercut. This is a finish a fight. It is all over. Bigfoot finishes the reign.
A knockout that silenced doubters and sent a warning to the heavyweight division. Tuivasa made it clear that he wasn't a fan of Hardy, especially due to Hardy's controversial past. There was no heated rivalry.
And Tuivasa just sits on his punch. Left hand drops it. Greg Hardy's eye is completely shut from that one left.
But Tuivasa had no problem knocking him out in the first round and celebrating with his signature shoey. It was a straightforward matchup, with Brown looking to bounce back from injury and Gonzaga aiming to climb the heavyweight ranks. However, the fight ended in controversy as Brown knocked out Gonzaga with vicious elbows.
It's in Travis Brown's eyes when he walked out there, and Gonzaga, who was working on John. Yeah, that first elbow appeared to buckle the knee, and then...
leading to debates over whether some of the strikes landed to the back of the head. Both fighters were highly respected in the sport, and the matchup was seen as a passing of the torch moment, with the rising contender Velasquez facing the legendary former Pride and UFC interim champion Nogueira.
And competing now. Kane's got his back. Josh Rosenthal might stop this. And he's trying, but Kane is absolutely relentless.
With Velasquez ultimately securing a dominant first-round knockout victory. Taking it back to the Wild West of the UFC, Goodridge locked Paul Herrera in a crucifix, and what came next was pure brutality. A relentless barrage of elbows, merciless, unblocked, and unforgiving. One of the most vicious finishes in UFC history. and a reminder that in those early days, survival was just as important as victory. Francis Ngannou had been here before, but this time he was a different beast. Patient, calculated, and dangerous. When the moment came, he didn't just knock Stipe Miocic out, he erased him.
Swarmed on him, had him in big trouble, hit him with that uppercut, and look at
That left hook that just drops him
So
and shuts
short.
his lights. I mean,
So
short.
The reign of Miocic was over. The era of Ngannou had begun. Two heavyweight powerhouses, one brutal finish. Junior Dos Santos and Mark Hunt went to war, trading bombs in a battle of iron will.
You just have to fight, and you find it, like right there.
Right there, and he set it up.
Over the right eye. Spinning back fist with a left hook by Junior. And there's a left by Hunt. A stiff jab barely landed. Oh, Junior comes over the top again.
Another right hand.
Oh, thanks on Mike as his chin. Oh, Junior got tagged.
But in the third round, JDS pulled out something special, a perfectly timed spinning heel kick that sent Hunt crashing to the canvas.
Who would have thought this was coming?
A walk-off finish, a knockout for the ages. This wasn't just a knockout, it was a resurrection. Pat Barry had Chake Congo dead to rights, dropping him twice with sledgehammer shots. The fight looked over, but Congo, barely standing, found his
Did a
moment.
great job at letting this fight go. And here, he hurt him there, and there's the uppercut. I have never seen anything
One of the
like
wildest comebacks in UFC history. Rosenstreich made the mistake of calling out a monster, and the Predator answered. Ngannou stormed forward like a runaway freight train, wild but deadly.
Boom! He's just trying to connect.
He's just trying to connect because he's all up in the air and he's just like, I'm gonna hit him. And when he does, Biggie Boy goes out.
UFC London. And the hometown hero wasted no time. Tom Aspinall came out like a storm with somewhere to be. Marcin Tybura barely had a chance to breathe before a blazing right hand rattled his senses.
Right there.
Oh, nice elbow.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Goddard has called a stop to this contest.
In just over a minute, Aspinall turned the O2 into a madhouse and reminded the division. Speed kills.
Championship fight. I want you guys to obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself.
As Werdum blitzed forward, fists flying and emotions high, Miocic took a half step back and uncorked a missile of a right hand.
Forward a little sloppy, and Miocic was tagging him as he was backing up. And just a short right hand.
In the blink of an eye, Miocic became the new heavyweight king. Henrique tried to wrestle the storm.
And there's that wrestling. He let that go.
But Ngannou stayed patient, stalking like a predator in the dark.
The fight to be. Combination followed up.
But he's
Then in round two, Henrique's lights were out before he hit the floor.
and a barrage. Look at this left uppercut, and that's the end of the fight right there. Look at it. Look at this beautiful left uppercut right in front of us. Watch.
The heavyweight division had a new nightmare, and his name was Ngannou. And there you have it, some of the most thunderous, jaw-dropping knockouts in UFC heavyweight history. Thanks for watching. If we missed one of your favorites, drop it in the comments. We're always down to relive the carnage. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.